Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Me, You, Madness. And this is from writer, director, and star Louise Linton, and also has Ed Westwick. And this film focuses on this very rich, very powerful woman who knows exactly what she wants. She wants to kill people. She wants to kill men and chop them all up. So she's a serial killer, and she's renting out a room to a thief who's definitely casing the joint, but she totally knows it. And she likes this cat and mouse game. And what is a very interesting premise here of what happens when you pit a thief against a serial killer. And there's a lot of sexual tension. And what's going to happen next? And this seems like a really darkly funny film that turns out to be a romantic comedy. Because that's how I would put this with how this film goes. Yes, it's a bit of War of the Roses where it gets a little violent and a little attacky between the two of them, but it's building that sexual tension throughout the film of between Linton and Westwick and their budding feelings for each other. Is she just playing, or does she really have feelings for this guy? He also is in the same boat. Is he just playing her so he could rob her, or does he really have feelings for her? Now here's the thing. You have this premise. Doesn't really dig deep into it. This is a very vapid, very shallow film that just skates across the surface. There's no depth to the characters. There's no deeper meanings to the plot or the themes of the film. There's no really digging deep and seeing what's at the center of this film. It's a lot of just, very shiny, Lipton brings a very shiny veneer to this whole entire film. Whether it's her character's really exuberant and obnoxious lifestyle. It's very high style, high sheen. It looks like you're in a music video from start to finish. And it's tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of 80s music from start to finish. You got Blue Sky song that's in the Wonder Woman 1984 trailer. You got Footloose. You got just about everything, and it just throws it in there. Let's have dancing numbers to it. You have one song where Lipton's really getting into it as she's chopping up body parts and dancing with a frozen severed head to really obnoxious 80s music. That's this kind of film. It's just as cheesy and just surface level as a lot of people think of the 80s. 80s had an edge to it. This movie really doesn't. There's obviously a darkness about it because, the subject matter. But when you really think about how this film plays out, there's not a whole lot of strong tension here. I was amused. I thought it was kind of funny at times, but it's so just shallow and just lacks any kind of depth in any way. All you get is really shiny and high, even the mixing between the music and the talking a lot of the times is not great because it's just that music's just blasting. And you have these situations where it's just she's throwing out all these fancy words and look at all the fancy things I have to 80s music, and that's basically this film in a nutshell. Let's have a threesome to 80s music. Let's make out with my Asian girlfriend to 80s music. That's basically this film. Let's almost try to kill each other to 80s music. Basically, this whole entire film is what can we do that's it. There's not a whole lot of depth to it, but set it to 80s music. Honestly, that could have been the tagline to Me, You, Madness. Is let's do just about anything, but let's set it to 80s music. So in the end, I feel like this film is pretty throwaway. If you really love the 80s, my brother's a 80s file. Like, I'm pretty sure he would love every second of this, just enjoying the 80s-ness about it. Doesn't even take place in the 80s. Yeah. It's just like, let's have all the 80s music. But I had some fun with it. It didn't really impact me in any way. And by the end, I'm like, did I really care if they wound up together or not? Or if they killed each other or not? Or if he stole from her? Not really. But, we made it to the end. But those are my thoughts on Me, You Madness. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.